Hey, Chef Andrew back here again. Today I'm going to be teaching how to make a rice pilaf. I'm going to start with a basic recipe. That's going to require 2 tablespoons of butter divided. So I have 1 tablespoon each little thing. I have 1 cup of small diced onions. 1 cup of uncooked rice. I'm using a jasmine rice because I like fragrant rice. 2 cups of chicken stock ready to go. And then for today I'm doing a more of a Latin style rice pilaf. So my finisher herbs are going to be 2 tablespoons of chopped cilantro, a tablespoon of lime zest, and a tablespoon of lime juice, fresh squeezed. All right. Now for a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of lime zest, you're going to be needing about half a lime, not a key lime, a regular larger lime. All right. So first, you're going to make sure you get your nice and mise en place all set up, right? You're ready to go. I have all my prep here. You'll notice I don't have salt and pepper here, but I do have salt and pepper ready to go to season right on the side. But those are my finishing seasonings. All right. I don't want to add too much salt because we are using a chicken stock. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our butter, and I'm going to turn the camera here, and we're just going to put it into a hot saute pan that's been going for a couple minutes so the butter can get nice and melty. Alright, make sure you have your utensils on hand to use. I'm using a rubber scraper and a nonstick pan. Alright, I'm using a pan on medium heat. I'm going to melt the butter down. And when that butter's about halfway done, I'm going to take the onions and I'm going to pop those in. I'm going to sweat the onions. I'm going to saute the onions. I don't want any brown. I want very minimal brown here. I just want to saute them. I want to sweat them. I want to get translucent onions. All right. Zoom in here. So we're going to cook this for a few minutes. I'm actually going to turn the heat up a little more. I'm used to cooking on gas ranges, but obviously I don't have a gas range at home, so we're going to do it with electric range. Alright, but we're going to cook the onions on a medium-high heat until they become translucent, until you can see through them. Alright, once you start seeing through a lot of them, at least about 90% of the onions, we'll be ready for the rice to be added. Alright. Again, we don't want caramelization to happen yet, or at all, for rice pilaf. We're looking for a nice, soft, white, beige color when it comes to cooking a rice pilaf. Now, you'll see a lot of rice pilafs will be different kinds of rice or grains involved. There'll be wild rice, which are those little black pieces of rice. Sometimes there'll be quinoa, amaranth. Those are all good for rice pilafs. I'm just teaching a very basic rice pilaf today. All right. So along with your lesson today, you'll read through your grains, and then I'm going to ask you guys if you want. I'll give you a couple choices of either doing a rice pilaf, the basic recipe I put up online, or the one I'm showing you right now, or you can take the written assessment. It's up to you guys. Alright, but again, make sure you're watching your onions. We don't want to burn them. We don't want any caramelization happening. We don't want to see brown. We just want translucent onions, so we're just sweating. Okay? I know it's going to take a little bit of time, but trust me, time is better than rushing through something and screwing up flavors and burning things. Alright? You see a lot of steam coming off. Okay, onion, white, I'm using a Spanish Vidalia onion. Has a milder, nuttier flavor, a little sweet on it. I'm getting to the point where I'm about 50% translucent here. I know it's hard to see in the video, but I'm actually seeing through a lot of the onions now. I can see through the pan, through the onion to the pan. Notice I'm not getting any caramelization though. I'm not getting any onion and any brown onions. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. Okay. Alright, so we're about at the 85%, 90% translucent stage for sweating onions. I'm going to go ahead and add the rice now. Okay. Again, I'm using a jasmine rice. It's 1 cup of jasmine rice. I'm going to sweat it with the onions for a little bit because I want the rice to get a nutty aroma. So as you're mixing the onions with the rice, the butter begins caramelizing slightly on the outside of the rice because of the starch. And we're going to start getting a nutty aroma. Alright. Now again, I'm not putting any other herbs into this. If you were doing a French style rice pilaf, you could throw a sprig of thyme and a couple bay leaves in here. And at the end you just salt and pepper, finish it with a little parsley, and it'll be perfect. But again, I'm making a rice pilaf that's more of a, I have a Spanish influence on it, or Latin influence on it. Okay? So again, I'm just going to keep sauteing, or sweating, the onions with the rice until I get that nice, nutty aroma. And you'll notice you'll get there, not only will you smell it, you'll start seeing the rice itself turning a bit translucent as well. I know it's hard to see. You'll see the rice is kind of translucent as well. That's what we're looking for. Okay. So once we've got that, I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit, not to high, but I am going to add my two cups of stock now. I'm actually adding 1 3/4 cups because I want my rice a little bit drier because I'm going to be adding the lime juice, and then the onion I'm using also has a little bit of liquid in it as well. Okay, so I'm going to pour that in. So you can hear that just cool the pan down. Okay, from here, just going to give it a nice stir. And we're going to bring this to a boil. Alright. Once it comes up to the boil, shouldn't take too long, especially if we turn up the heat a bit. We're going to reduce it down to a simmer, we're going to cover it, and then we're going to let it cook for 15 to 20 minutes. Alright, until all or most of the water has been absorbed by the rice. Alright. And then again, since we're using a stock, we're going to flavor the rice. If you're using straight water, you're not going to get a lot of the flavor inside the rice. So always cook with a stock or some sort of sauce when you're cooking rice. Unless you're going for a straight white rice, like say in Asian cuisines. Okay, but we're looking at Latin cuisines and French cuisines, and all those use stocks to flavor the rices. Okay. So again, I'm just waiting for this to come up to a boil. A nice hot boil. I'm just going to continually stir because I want to make sure that the rice doesn't clump too much, but I don't want to keep stirring. If I was to keep stirring, I would probably start gumming up the starch and it would become a risotto eventually, and we're not looking for that. We're looking for rice pilaf. Okay? Now, it is starting to come up to a boil. The bubbles are starting to form really, really nice around the center of this. All right. At this point, I'm going to reduce it down to simmer first. Okay. And then I'm going to put a lid on it. Okay. Now, I'm a big fan of glass lids just because I can see my food and how it's working. Especially with rice, it's hard to notice that. So this is going to simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then we're going to come back to that. Unfortunately, I don't have kitchen magic. So today we're just going to actually wait it out. I'm just going to pause the video. And then in 15 minutes, I'll come back, check on it, and start up the recording again. Alright, we're now back. It's been about 15 to 16 minutes. All the water has evaporated from here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add in our butter. Alright, I'm going to give that a nice little stir. I want the butter to melt. I want the rice to be a little fluffed. Okay. Rice looks absolutely fantastic at this point. Okay. Once the butter has started to melt and coating and getting our rice grains to be individualized, I'm going to add in our cilantro. Alright. The lime zest. And the lime juice. Okay. Give this a good stir. Be very careful, you don't want to over mix it, you just want to get it to where all of the flavor is in every part of the dish. Alright. From here, as I've always stated, make sure you're tasting as you go. So we're going to go ahead and give this a taste. And make sure where I want it to be. Alright. The rice is absolutely perfect. It's got that very gentle bite right at the end. Flavor is good with the lime juice, the limes, and the cilantro. It does need a little bit more salt, and we do need to add pepper. So, my little fancy salt shaker here. Add in some fresh ground pepper. Give that a nice good mix. And there you have a nice simple rice pilaf to serve with any kind of food that you want to serve it with. Steak, chicken, fish. This rice pilaf absolutely goes perfect with fish dishes or any kind of light meat dishes, as well as pork. Alright. I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to see what you guys can make using this simple rice pilaf recipe.